It hasn't even been a full week since Joe Biden dropped out the 2024 presidential campaign and threw her endorsement directly to Kamala Harris. That already the Republican Party is throwing out all the stops to try to stop her from becoming the nominee, or at the very least stopping her from actually becoming president. The racism attacks, the misogyny attacks, it's just got out of control. And now they have a new, I just read an article from the Daily Beast. This Republican rep is already trying to impeach Kamala Harris. Now, obviously, she's still the vice president of the United States under Joe Biden. But the joke of it is, these people don't know when to stop. The MAGA honestly does not know how to stop. So here's an excerpt from the article. 2 days after Vice President Kamala Harris declared her candidacy for president, a freshman Republican lawmaker introduced articles of impeachment against her for violating her oath of office. Moving on. Republican Representative Andy Orkis from Tennessee filed articles of impeachment against Harris on Tuesday, claiming that she, quoting the articles, demonstrated extraordinary incompetence in the execution of her duties and responsibilities, a stark refusal to uphold existing immigration laws, and parable indifference to people of the United States suffering as a result of the ongoing southern border crisis in the United States. So you're using the crisis of what's going on in the border to try to get Vice President Harris out of the job. There's just one small problem. You do know that Biden is still the president of the United States, right? But wait, there's more. The same day Orkis sent a letter, let me put it this way. The same day Orkis sent a letter to Harris urging him to invoke the 25th Amendment, Fox News Digital first reported, which will allow the vice president to take over temporarily or permanently if the president is incapacitated for some reason. Biden announced that he had COVID yet on Wednesday. So there lies the rub. There's the scheme. You tried to get Vice President Harris to evoke the 25th Amendment and say that Biden is incapable of doing his job because he has COVID and that he might be a little slow and whatnot and blah, 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 whatever. And then you swoop in with these articles of impeachment, which will go nowhere, except for you Republican idiots. And your plan is to sneak Johnson, the Speaker of the House Johnson, in as the President of the United States. Is that how you're? See, this is what I'm getting at. The Republican Party, they know they can't win an election. And now that Vice President Kamala Harris is in this thing, and is now the presumptive nominee of the Democrat Party, they're terrified. This reeks of desperation. The same kind of desperation we saw from the attacks on her about her race, that she's not really African American, the DIBS, attacking her because she happens to be a woman, and all that other misogynistic BS. This should show everyone out there. They're desperate. It's laughable. Orkis, what exactly did you really think was going to happen? That you introduced these articles of impeachment and Mike Johnson just sweeps in and takes over and steps down and Donald Trump is swooped back into office? Do you really believe that that's really going to happen? How stupid are you? Seriously, I'm asking a very simple question. How stupid are you people to think that you're going to be able to do that? By doing this, it reeks of desperation. I'm laughing about it because it reeks of complete and total desperation. It's sad, really. It really is very, very sad that you want to reduce yourself to this, that this is how you want to take power. Not by the election, not by the ballot box, but by sneaking behind our constitutional republic and stabbing it in the back with a dagger. That might be how you do it in third world countries, and maybe that's how you want it to be done in the United States, considering the fact that your master, Donald Trump, is a fan of a man like Putin. I should say men like Putin, men like Kim Jong-un, men like Viktor Orban. Maybe that's how you want to do things in this country. This is a constitutional republic, boys and girls. No. Sorry. Now, I'm sorry that you think you're going to get embarrassed by a black woman. No, actually, I'm not sorry about that. I'm laughing about it. I hope she does win, or at the very least, I hope she does an amazing job, even if she loses, because it will show this country, this people, and the world that we will resist against Donald Trump. But this reeks of complete and total desperation. It reeks of desperation, and quite honestly, it's pathetic. It's really pathetic. It really is, because quite honestly, this is what you're reduced to, Republican Party. This is what you're reduced to, MAGA. Now, real quick, I mentioned the DEI, diversity, equality, inclusion. Forgive me. And I've been hearing all kinds of BS from the MAGA and Donald Trump and all the rest of the MAGA in Congress about how Harris is a DEI pick, how anyone who happens to be black or of color or anyone in the LGBTQ, they're not really Americans. They didn't earn the positions they are in. They're DEI. They want to say that's a acronym for didn't earn it. And one of the people who is a big proponent of that theory, of course, I've talked about this guy before, Baal Horty, the nephew of Patti LaBelle, who's a stone cold racist against African Americans, who is a stone cold bigot against gay people. And the joke of it, the joke of it is, Baal, he is black and he is gay. He said so. But in a recent post on Twitter, he goes off and says, Kamala is a DEI vice president and possibly a DEI president. And of course, you heard it's diversity, equality, inclusion, and he calls it didn't earn it. But here's the thing. The thing of it is, she was elected vice president, obviously elected because of her being on the ticket with Joe Biden. But she's not DEI. If I had the time, I would go down to her credentials. She goes on to say, Karen Jean-Pierre is a DEI press secretary, the press secretary for the Biden administration. Wow. Because she was appointed by President Biden, and she doesn't lie her ass off every day like Sarah Huckabee Sanders did for Trump. He calls Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, a DEI appointee. You do know that this guy used to be a general in the United States Army, right? I'm just wondering if you know Baal, but obviously you don't. She calls, this guy calls Khadijah Brown Jackson a DEI Supreme Court Justice. Wow. So if your philosophy of didn't earn it goes to Khadijah Brown Jackson, a person who graduated law school, argued cases in courts all the way to Supreme Court, I would say she earned it, you jackass. Now he calls the squad, Donald Trump's favorite congresswoman, the squad, DI House Representatives. Really? You do know these women were elected officials, right? You do know that. The people elected them. No one appointed them. The people elected them. Anyway, Maxwell Frost. He calls Maxwell Frost a DEI House Representative. Is that because he's black? He calls Jamal Bowman a DEI House member until his voters caught on. Because he's black? He calls Pierre Buttigieg, the Transportation Secretary, DEI. Because he's gay? He calls Richard Rachel Lewis a DEI Health and Human Services Secretary. Because he's trans? He calls Alejandro Mayorkas the most DEI House Secretary we've ever had. Because he's of Latin descent? He calls Merrick Garland, might as well be a DEI Attorney General for how bad he is at it. Now, I got my problems with Merrick Garland considering the fact that he's been completely inept when it comes to going after Trump. Seriously? He calls Kimberly Cheadle, the former Secret Service director who resigned not too long ago, a DEI Secret Service director. Is that because of what happened in Pennsylvania? You call her DEI because she happens to be a she? You know, this guy is a straight up bigot, a straight up racist. And before people go off on the mouth and saying a gay black man can't be racist or bigoted, yes, they can. I have encountered African Americans who are gay and straight who hate black people to the core. I met black people who are gay, who hate homosexuals, anyone in the LGBTQ, they hate to the core. You know, Donald Trump may have had a lot to do with uncovering everything, uncovering the bigotry and hatred and racism in this country. But honestly, I got the feeling that this guy, Bao, and so many others, Blau, whatever the hell you want to call his name, however you want to pronounce it, I got the feeling that this guy, he's been a bigoted racist all his life. And Donald Trump allowed that to happen. Let me put it this way, for to torture a cliche, he allowed guys like him to come out of the closet. I feel sorry for this guy. I really do. Now, I have every reason to hate this guy. I have every reason to despise him. But I really feel sorry for him. I genuinely feel incredibly sorry for people like him who are just trapped in that hatred, trapped in that bigotry, trapped in that racism, all because the other person doesn't look like them or doesn't act like them or doesn't feel like them. You see, Donald Trump let the pressure off a cooker when it comes to racism and bigotry in this country. Bao Horthy is just the perfect example of that. And as much as I feel sorry for him, actually I pity him. Because he's trapped himself in this hatred, this vitriol. And I don't think there's any chance of him getting out of it. I really don't think there's any chance of him getting out of this hatred that he's put himself into. And he's not the only one. millions of Americans who are voting for Trump have, since the minute Joe Biden announced he's out and Kamala Harris is probably going to be in, the racism and bigotry has just uncovered itself. And Bile is just one example. There are plenty others, but I'm not going to call them out because I'm running out of, this video is over 15 minutes long now. I feel sorry for them. I really do. It's not their fault that they're trapped in this. And I don't think there's any chance of them getting out of it. Even after Donald Trump is probably reelected, they're going to be trapped in it. Only this time, instead of words on Twitter, they'll have guns. And if Kamala Harris is elected president, it's just going to get worse. But again, I'm going to say it again. Considering who Baal Horthy is, a gay African-American man, he hasn't read Project 2025. I'm just throwing it out there. Because for those two reasons, this guy should be incredibly terrified. Because the LGBTQ and African-Americans are the prime target of Project 2025. And Trump can try to run away from it as fast as he can. He can go on Truth Social, which he has, and say that the liberals are lying on him. However, who is your vice presidential nominee? J.D. Vance, who actually wrote a foreword to the book of Project 2025. So either you're stupid or you're lying. My money is on both. You're stupid and you're lying. But Kamala Harris is going to become the next nominee. She's already got the delegates. Right now, we need to get our butts off the seats and start marching for her. This is not a game anymore. Donald Trump is playing for keeps. And it's time for us to do the same. I'm voting for Kamala Harris. And I'm saying it right now, and I'm saying it proud. I'm a black man. And then I'm going to talk about this in another video, but I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter, I'm guessing they're fake accounts, screaming, I'm black and I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. Well, here's me screaming, I'm black and I am voting for Kamala Harris. Any questions? CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.